Hey everyone, this is IMAXNation1980 here, and this is going to be sort of not really a random thoughts video, but just a really lengthy, it might even take up 3 to 4 videos, or heck, even 10. But it's not really a rant, I'm just going to really talk about my thoughts on the state of, like, what animation is going through right now, like what's going on this year for feature animation in the future. And this might be the first year since 2005 where an animated feature film doesn't make $200 million at the domestic box office. And right now, the highest grossing animated film domestically is Cars 2, which I think is just going to end up with $190 million. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to equate box office, sales, the film's box office performance with quality. I mean, quality has nothing to do with box office, especially when you're thinking of something like Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. No offense to anyone who likes that movie, but this is basically going to be thoughts on the quality of animation and how it's doing commercially and where it will, where it's going in the future. I know some people might think that animation has kind of hit its stride. It's going through a little fatigue right now. I don't know about that because every year we get tons of animated movies. Why now would people get sick of them? Especially if last year most of the animated films we got were really good and were worth seeing. I think this year the animated films, and you can disagree all you want, but there really wasn't much of a must-see animation event. And quite frankly, each year needs a must-see event for animation because in order to keep animation going, you gotta offer audiences and critics and, moviegoers and, film fans something, worth seeing, worth the price of admission, especially in today's economy with these really high ticket prices. Now, some people are suggesting, no, movies aren't doing so well this year because of high ticket prices. But if that is so, then how come, Harry Potter and Transformers have, crossed over $300 million. I mean, I didn't think Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 was ever going to reach $400 million anyway. So what it's doing right now is really good. I mean, it's already topped the first Harry Potter domestically. I mean, it's the first time the first Harry Potter ever been topped. I don't know about attendance, though, since, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone came out 10 years ago, and this one's in 3D. I don't know, but it outgrossed it. So anyways, back to the topic, the future of animation. So there have been a couple movies released this year, and none of them have hit $200 million. And even the ones that got good reviews. Rango is one of the films I'm probably going to talk about quite a lot in this video. I absolutely loved Rango. I think it's the best animated movie of the year, and I hope it gets nominated for Best Picture, and I hope it takes home the Best Animated Film Award. And I can't say that too soon, though, because what if, there's a couple animated films coming out this autumn that I'm looking forward to, like Arthur Christmas. But I still think Rango is going to be my favorite. But for now, I want it to win. It was just really a creative film, and it was certainly the best animated film of the year. But how come it didn't do so well? Well, first of all, Rango is a Western, and, I mean, yeah, True Grit was a big hit, but when's the last time a Western really did well at the box office? Not counting stuff like Jonah Hex, but still. Anyways, Rango could have been a success, could have been a big success with families, because it's a family film, but unfortunately, a lot of parents were turned off by the movie, and I mean, I understand if if somebody's kids didn't like it, I mean, that's okay, but you got to remember that animation is not a genre and it's not a medium for small children. You can't just assume, you just can't assume it's because it's animated, it's a cartoon, it's good for my kids. You see, a lot of, I don't want to sound condescending or, cliched or anything, but I think a lot of parents, shelter their kids these days. I mean, it's very obvious, but if you go over to Yahoo user reviews, that just pretty much proves it. I mean, most people are just saying, oh, people just say that. I mean, true, there are a lot of kids that are allowed to watch these kinds of movies, but there's a lot of kids who aren't allowed to watch these kind of movies and are brought up differently. I mean, there was even controversy over the amount of characters smoking in Rango. And, there's been this whole kick to slap an R rating onto any movie that has that has like smoking in it. But here's the thing, though: a lot of people are saying like movies like Rango or probably Alice in Wonderland, which because the caterpillar. I mean, there was a PG rating for Alice in Wonderland at the end, and a smoking caterpillar. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, yes, I'm kind of ranting here, but here's the thing, though. Rango is the perfect movie for family audiences, just like a Pixar film or just like a DreamWorks movie or whatever. And some of you might think, what are you, psychotic or something? No, considering what most of us 90s kids watched, it's actually kind of mild. I mean, it was PG. I mean, some people were saying it should have been PG-13. No way. It was totally PG material. It was, and here's the thing, though. Not suitable for kids? Well, there's some kids out there who really liked it. I mean, when I saw it in the theaters, the kids were like screaming Rango when Rango first came on the screen. They were really excited to see it, but then halfway through the movie, they got really bored. But I didn't see anyone take their kids out of the theater. I didn't hear anyone get scared when Rattlesnake Jake appeared or anything. But the funny thing is, a lot of people say it was unsuitable for children. Well, a friend from California visited with her two twins, and we all watched Rango as just like that's kind of like a movie night thing, and they enjoyed it, and she was apparently okay with her kids watching it. Again, it depends on the parent or the kid, really. I mean, I'm going on and on about parents and how they don't let their kids watch certain things, but here's the thing, though. They complain about like movies with smoking and that they're gonna brainwash kids into thinking smoking is good. No, it's not like the movie is really glorifying smoking anyways. I mean, yes, characters are smoking, but in the old Disney films, they smoked too. It's up to the parents, to tell their kids smoking is, you're not going to smoke. I mean, I'm not anti-smoking, and personally, I don't smoke, and I don't ever want to smoke. I mean, it's just not my thing. I have no intention to smoke, but I mean, I have nothing against people who do smoke. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. And I know you're probably just saying, IMAX Nation 80. People have been saying this for years. I know people have been saying this for years, but apparently nobody freaking gets it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've said millions of times, it's up to you as the parent to teach your kids what's right and wrong, but apparently these people don't listen. They raise their kids in a bubble, and then that's going to ultimately, hurt children in the long run. And I know that's been said before. Okay, I'm ranting. I better stop here. But likewise, I don't think Rango did all that well because of the parents' reviews. Although it still pulled a 3 times multipliers. That's pretty good for a movie like that. And the fact that it was a Western and that it was very quirky and unconventional, and it still managed to make over $100 million at the box office is amazing. And Paramount is really proud of it, and they're going to start their own animation studio. And they expect their first film to come out in 2014, and hopefully they'll make films like Rango, very offbeat and a nice alternative to Pixar. Now before you say anything, now most of you guys know, like subscribers and all that, you guys know that I love Pixar, but anyone who doesn't know that, I will tell you I love Pixar. They're probably the best studio out there, animation or not. And every year I look forward to their movies, and they've only disappointed me once, and that was with this year's Cars 2. And no offense to anyone out there who thought Cars 2 was a great film. You have every right to think that. I mean, yeah, it's your taste, it's your opinion. I'm not going to criticize you for that. But you see, all the other studios, and no offense to any of you DreamWorks fanatics or anything like that, but I just think they copy Pixar or Disney. They just kind of follow the same formula in terms of character designs, and that's why I liked Rango. It did its own thing, and that's why I was hoping Rango would be a big success. I wanted it to gross over $150 million. I mean, yes, quality over quantity, but still, even without 3D, if it made that much money, it would have proved that, it did well, even a quirky film like that. But it's a shame to see that, audiences were turned off by it, especially like parents and stuff like that. And I just think to myself, if I was a kid in the 90s, I would have loved this. This, if Rango came out in like, say, 1997 or 1998, it probably would have been a bigger hit. It probably would have been a favorite with kids, not nowadays, I mean, considering what us kids watched in the 90s and what kids in the 80s watched, Rango's kind of mild. So, Rango rant over. I mean, I'm sorry about that, and I didn't mean to offend anyone, but I mean, come on, those are just my personal views. But if your kid was sincerely, like, if your kid was really bothered by Rango, then I understand. But if you're just another one of those parents who thinks, oh no, that's evil, and I can't let my kids watch that, then please. I don't want to hear it. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate mail for this. But you know what? It's my opinion. I mean, mine isn't right and neither is yours, but it's my opinion. And so is yours. So, I only saw two other animated films this year. I mean, you're most of you people are going to say, "What?" But all I've seen this year are Rango, Rio, and Cars 2. I've not seen Kung Fu Panda 2, and I sure as hell did not have no intentions of seeing Hoodwink 2, Hood versus Evil. And Romeo and Juliet does not interest me in the least, even though it actually scored the biggest multiplier for an animated movie this year. And I I haven't seen those. I have not seen Winnie the Pooh yet, and I really want to see it. It's supposed to be really good. And if I see it and I like it better than Rango, then maybe I'll think that should win the best animated feature. I don't know. I really want to see it though, but I think Disney really dropped the ball with Winnie the Pooh. But I'll get to that later. I don't know, like 40 minutes later if I keep ranting like this. But yeah, I'll move on to Rio now. Rio was, a little run of the mill, but I still enjoyed it. You see, from the advertising, I didn't think Rio looked like it was I wanted to see it because the animation looked very colorful, and I heard it was going to be a musical, but I don't think the trailers really imply that. I didn't really see too many of the trailers for Rio, but I was very uninterested in it at first, but then at last minute I realized, hey, this could be a fun movie, and I kind of needed something to do on a boring Saturday, so I decided to go see Rio, and I ended up enjoying it. I certainly didn't think it was as good as Rango. I mean, Rango is in a whole is in a higher league. Rio, was Blue Sky. Blue Sky. They're a very conservative studio, but they still know how to make pretty good films, and they make the countless Ice Age sequels, to support original films like that. Because they have a movie coming out called Leaf Men, and they have a couple other original projects coming after that. And then they give you films like Horton Hears a Who and Robots. So I think the Ice Age sequels are just there to support projects like that. And maybe Pixar might be adapting that, with Cars 2 and all that. They make a couple sequels that make money, and then they can use that to support bigger projects like Brave and that John Carter project that they're working on with Jerry Bruckheimer and Disney. Yeah, so basically Rio, I really enjoyed. I'd probably give it maybe like a B minus or something. I thought it was a little derivative, but I still enjoyed it. Very colorful. Some of the music in it was pretty good, and it was a film that just aimed to be, plain, just aimed to be fun. It didn't try to be anything beyond that. I mean, I consider it kind of unfair to say not as good as Pixar because it's not. I don't think it was trying to be. I think it was just trying to be a fun adventure, story for kids and adults, and I enjoyed it. In the theater, it was packed when I saw it. I saw it in 2D, of course, but the theater was packed. We ended up having to sit in the front row, my friend and I, and there was the audience applauded twice during the movie. So, and it outgrossed Rango, but you gotta consider 3D ticket prices. But Rio was more accessible, but I certainly thought Rango was much better. So, tell me what you think. If you agree or not. I mean, you can disagree all you want. I mean, we're all entitled to our opinions. Did you think Rango was better? Did you think Rio was better? What do you think was the best animated movie of 2011? I mean,